Richard, your first time out standing as a councillor, and you've taken a really easy ward in Orsett. How's it going?
It's going alright so far. I mean, I'm really enjoying meeting lots of people and speaking to people. I mean, it's just great to get on the doorstep and speak to a lot of people who've got really positive things to say. I mean, I've kind of fallen in love with Orsett in a lot of ways, because people here, especially in Horndon where we are today, really, really care about their community. There's lots of active community groups and lots of really kind of hard-working people who want to make it a better place, and that's really, really rewarding to speak to them sometimes.
Think you can win?
Well, I'm keeping an open mind. I mean, I think the most important thing is that people have a choice. I mean, I don't really agree that you should have safe wards for Labour or for Tory, and I think that people shouldn't feel that they have to vote Tory just because it's a Tory ward. There has to be a choice in local government, and that's what I'm trying to provide.
But you're not just working in this particular ward, you're also working in the whole constituency, is that right?
Yeah, I do a lot of work with Angela up in Basildon. Kind of I'm out on the doorstep with her most weekends, and then do a little bit here as well. It's been going really well.
And yeah, what feedback are you getting on the doorstep? Are people relating her to Gordon Brown?
I mean, not so much. I mean, the thing about Angela is because she's been the MP for a while, and because she grew up in Pitsea, she's always lived here, and there's a really positive local response to her. People know who she is on the doorstep. People are glad when she comes to speak to them, and I really think that has an impact on people.
And again, I've seen you the last few Thurrock Council meetings and planning meetings. What impression are you getting of local democracy from that particular chamber?
Well, it's not a great advert for the borough, I think is one of the things that I will say. I think it reflects poorly on Thurrock when you have such dissension and controversy, and political point scoring is something that really irritates me when I go to council. You see kind of the leader of the council, Gary Hay, standing up and trying to score political points here, and I mean, Labour aren't entirely innocent of this, but there is that kind of tit-for-tat mentality, which I don't think is good for anyone in the borough.
You must have some interesting political debates over the dining table at home.
Yes, well, my dad is actually quite a prominent local Conservative, which is interesting at times, but I always say I quite enjoy speaking to Conservatives, partly because if you knock on someone's door and they say I don't vote, or I'm not interested in politics, that's the most demoralising thing, because you really want people to get involved in local politics, and I quite like it when people answer the door and say I'm a Conservative, and I say, well, fair play to you, because what really matters is kind of taking part and participating in local democracy.
But what would define you as I'm always reluctant to use the word socialist, because it almost seems like an outdated expression if I'm speaking to the Labour person, but what defines you as a Labour candidate?
Well, I don't want to really trot out kind of party lines, but I've always believed that you have to help people, especially in these kind of tough economic times. Nationally the Tories are talking about these massive cuts, and you see it locally when Thurrock Council are cutting library opening hours and trying to cut the Tilbury ferry. These are issues that really make a difference to people's lives, and they can really help the borough going forward. But there's this kind of sense of we don't want to spend money, we don't want to be out there helping people in the community. People have to do it by themselves. I've always been a great believer that not everybody can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, and that seems to be the Tory mentality. If you can't do it yourself, then you're not going to do it. And
as you're a great fan of social media and IT, how do you think this particular elections coming up will be affected by social media?
This is a topic I can talk for hours about. I think that one of the things that will happen with this election more than any previous ones is that organising is something that's going online in a big way. It's very easy to get your message across, very easy to coordinate campaign activities, and it's also a great thing because people can participate more. You see there's a group that I'm a member of called Power 2010. They run like this online campaign where people can vote about what issues they would like to see to reform our democracy, and they've had this massive response. People are engaging more in non-traditional ways, which is really heartening. I think we're not quite there yet with the internet. This isn't the first internet election. What will happen this election is somebody will make a mistake or a gaffe, and it goes like that. It goes on the internet, and then it will be picked up by the mainstream media immediately. And that will be the biggest way I think the internet affects the election this time round. But I think it's definitely a growing force in politics.